Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, so much amazing information to give me clarity on so many levels.
Already, just today.
Oh, yeah. This is like a roller coaster right now. It's very fun. My question is regarding relationship. I spent a lot of years looking at not having one and being lonely. And
as that problem came into focus, the solution did too.
Exactly.
Then?
Through a lot of the contrast, I don't look at that problem anymore. I just find myself kind of every day in a happy, joyous state and excited about possibilities on every level, relationship, professional. And so I just am excited and I know it's coming. I can feel it, even though I don't know who, what, when, where, how. I think what I would like a little bit more clarity on is not only having the faith about that it is coming and that it's going to be perfect and amazing because I've already created it and I keep adding to it, but looking also at a component from the past that still resonates within my heart and my mind, because that person did have so many amazing qualities and made me a better person. And so I wonder sometimes, are we going to reconnect? Is it going to come back together? I don't want those thoughts, though, to stop or hinder.
Well, they are stopping and hindering.
Okay.
But it's not just those thoughts.
Okay.
And you're going to hear this easily because the clarity that you are presenting here is really wonderful, and what's in your vortex is really vivid. So you'll hear this easily. The most powerful thing that you're projecting just now is the absence of what you're looking for. Even though you don't mean to, and even though you're using all of the right words, and you understand the concept of the vortex and all of that really well, just being as specific as you are being when you say the subject on my mind right now is a relationship, the fact of the matter is when you pick up the subject stick called relationship, the end of it that is the absent of the relationship is still the dominant end of the stick. So every time at this point that you think about a relationship, you activate that end of the stick and you shoot yourself in the foot. Now, we've been playing with the money and the law of attraction cards that people are using as affirmation cards, because it's exactly the same thing that applies. When you want something that you don't know how, when, who, where, you don't know the specifics, it hasn't materialized in your experience yet, and you keep speaking the words that you believe are the right words in order to bring it about, but your awareness that it hasn't come about yet is still ringing in your vibration, it reaches a point where each time you talk about it, instead of moving closer to it, you just sort of practice the vibration where you are. So the key for affirmation cards is just to make sure that you're in the vortex before you affirm. Can you feel the difference? In other words, if you're in the vortex when you're speaking of what you want, now you're practicing the allowing vibration. If you're not in the vortex when you're affirming what you want, you're practicing the not in the vortex vibration. So for you to talk about relationship just for a little while, at this point we're just telling you where it's at, it's less helpful than if you were to talk about any number of things that you go into the vortex easily. And this is the missing piece of information for you. You have already put all of the components of the relationship, just like the icon that we were talking about. You've already put all of the components of the relationship into the vortex. Now you only have to get in the vortex. You don't have to get into the vortex while you're talking about relationship. You just have to get in the vortex. You don't have to, in the same way that we were talking just a little bit ago about, let's say you have this person who's just irritated the life out of you, but you just stopped thinking about it. You just stopped thinking about that person. And now you've been hanging around in the vortex, and now you can talk about that person without it threatening your vortex. This is the same sort of thing. That friend that we were talking about is how you've been feeling about relationship. And every time you talk about it, we're dramatizing this just a little bit, but every time you talk about it, it's an uncomfortable thing. It's more like a prick than it is something that feels good. So if you can just let that be, just don't work on it anymore, in an attitude of accepting that you've worked on it and you've put it there, and it is percolating, and it is, the vortex is spinning, and it is a vibrational reality, and it is present tense, and your work is now to just get into the vortex. So you go to the vortex when you listen to music, but you got to watch out, because music makes you think about relationships more than any other thing. So if you can find music that doesn't make you think about relationships, then listen to it. If music makes you think about relationships, then don't listen to it. If you like to put your hands in clay while you make pots, then do it. If you like walks in the park, then do it. If you like massages, or if you like, in other words, do anything that you can do to get into the vortex. But don't make the vortex an exercise where you're trying to improve relationship. Let the vortex be this haven where you go because it feels good, this place that you go because you like to daydream, this good feeling place. I'm not using as an ulterior motive a desire for a relationship as my reason for working on the vortex. I go to the vortex because it feels good. I go to the vortex because it's natural that I am there. I go to the vortex because my inner being is there. I go to the vortex because I like feeling good. I go to the vortex because I like being clear-minded. I go to the vortex because I like breathing deeply. I go to the vortex because it feels good to be in the vortex. And if you will let the vortex be something that has nothing to do with relationships for you, nothing to do. This is my anti-relationship space. This is the space where I don't think about relationships because my mind is so crowded with other things that feel wonderful to me. The vortex will tune you into the frequency of the relationship that you've already put there, and that person will walk into your experience, and you will meet, and you will both recognize that you have rendezvoused with what you have wanted. You see, it's the only way to accomplish something that you have been wanting for this long. People will say, let it go, let it go, let it go, surrender. And people think, oh, I don't want to let go because I don't want the universe to think that I've given up and that I don't want this relationship. And we want you to know you cannot let go of your desire. You're letting go of the thought that you usually think that prevents your desire from coming to fruition. And it's soft, it's subtle, you're almost there. The tipping point is so close for you. In other words, this is not a big dramatic difference. That the power of your vortex is such that just if you got that at all from us, and you can stay off the subject of relationships just for a little while, we're just talking about a few days or weeks. If you can stay off the subject but go to the vortex plenty for all of the other reasons, it will shift for you in terms of manifestation. It's our promise to you. The tipping point is that close. Yeah. It's that close. Good time for segment 1.